AKB40. Really, this entire episode was built up on this one joke right at the end. So, pretty much the entire section of how they were making fun of Becky like she's age 40, you had a bunch of different things going around that. It was all built up for the AKB40 reference and just different types of literally crapping on that culture of otakus. Which, honestly, I'm weirded out that they would add AKB40 in this anime. It's really weird and unsettling. But besides that, this episode was a very major what the fuck factor. I mean, it was on a whole new a high level. I mean, there may have not have been Fujoshi in this episode, or Yaoi, or any stuff like that. But it was still a very weird episode. I felt like I was watching an episode of Seitokai Yakuindomo this episode. Literally. I mean, Becky. Becky's a good character. I love Becky as a character. I enjoy her character personality, and we see a lot of her type of character in other anime, especially gag anime. But it felt like this episode was lacking in certain aspects that even previous episodes haven't done in Nourin. It was an enjoyable episode, but this episode would definitely turn off a lot of watchers to this series. Like, there was a lot of fan service this episode. I mean, a crazy ton of fan service, especially with Opie. I'm fine, okay with some fan service, but there was just overabundant amount that really just distracted the entire point of this episode. Really, there actually isn't a point of this episode. It was really just senseless gags and what the hell is going on. And then, really, this episode led up to nothing at all. The only thing probably I could say that this episode really had was getting to know more about Becky, more about her personality, and just know how she acts with the classroom. I felt like this is what the exact episode was really trying to lead towards. It did a good job in aspect to making me think Becky's even weirder than she was the first time she was introduced. Let's get into the Seitokai Yakuindomo thoughts, why I thought it reminded me of that. She pulls out a freaking censored vibrator. What the frick, yeah, I have no words to describe that. Okay, so Becky just went on to another new level of crazy, and really, at the same time, I'm inclined to feel bad for her to being alone for 40 freaking years. That is sad, but at the same time, it's really weird the way she acts, especially the entire cooking scene, to where she offers herself as, like, a food dish with food all over. I was like, what? What? I'm like, this ain't fan service, this is freaking hentai. Why are you showing me this? So, I was just like, what the hell am I watching? Honestly, this episode was enjoyable in certain things. They should have stuck to actual references that previous episodes did, especially with the animation quality. I did notice a couple of references. Now, there's one in particular I was shocked about. I don't know if they were actually going for the reference, but it managed to make me feel like that the way they managed the animation quality, maybe they were just lacking the animation quality and wanted to make dirt faces, but this is what it reminded me of. Higurashi. Becky going crazy and hysterical with her face just getting all distorted and crazy up screen where she spits all over the screen. That reminded me of Higurashi, one of the actual main female characters going crazy, you know, all with their faces that look like they're derpy, but at the same time, it's became a world-renowned phenomenon. Anyone that likes the horror genre of anime will say that they have the Higurashi syndrome. And so, the face of Becky completely reminded me of that, the way she went just all yandere mode, and almost in different portions of this episode. So really, I like it, and at the same time, I don't know if they were trying to mean towards that reference. Anyways, there was other references, like, I think they did another Monster Hunter reference. I don't exactly know, especially like the age 40 Genma Fist. I don't know exactly what reference that's from, but still, there was some references I could pick out, especially sometimes they changed animation quality, but not a lot. I didn't really get a lot of them. Besides that, this episode really didn't go into the romance factor of what Nourin really should focus on. I mean, last episode completely just crapped on Hata and the development with Ringo's character of actually being one of the main love interests to Hata. And really, this episode did not even work on that. It's like those events didn't even happen. We had Ringo not really have major lines this episode. Minori was completely non-existent almost this entire episode. The only aspect that Minori actually played in this episode is when she was called Chubby Boobs, and then you had world-class W-class Opie. So I was like, okay. So besides Minori becoming just something, an object of fan service for its watchers, this episode just all around was a bad episode. Not the worst I've ever seen, especially like Hamantora, but I felt like this episode could have done a lot better in the different departments. There was just some things that were good, some things that were not. This episode was either probably a hit or miss for the watchers of this series. Honestly, the only thing I could say that would have made this episode any worse than it already was to probably just completely fill it up with Yaoi, Fujoshi, and then put some Yuri antics also with it. I'm fine with certain aspects of anime, yes, but sometimes when you overabundantly use them and probably probably just destroy what the episode should probably be about, or any, at least character development with the characters. I mean, even if it's a gag anime, okay? A gag anime or a gag manga, it should have some form of actual, real major character development, not something that just completely just destroys the development you've had so far. So anyways, I guess this was a slight rant and at the same time a review of Nourin this week. I probably missed a couple things, but tell me your thoughts on this episode. I think my favorite moment, honestly, the only favorite moment I had was the goat scene of Kay riding the goat, with the goat's like, eats a corn, he's like, let's go. So I thought that was funny, but that was one of my favorite scenes, and that's probably my only favorite scene. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite scene? What was your worst scene? And do you think Nourin really stands a chance of actually continuing the quality it has, or do you think that it's going to get worse and go down a sharp freaking cliff like we probably already expected since the episode, I think, 3 or 4, since Yaoi started popping up? Tell me your thoughts. Y'all wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Chibi out.